Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest. Time for my weekly technical update, 16th of April 2023 edition. In today's video, we're going to talk about 9 companies listed on the ASX, including a couple I have never heard of. Actually, one I've never heard of. Another one I have heard of, but I have no idea what they do. In fact, that company is the featured company in this particular video, Alpha HPA. I have no idea what they do. I'm assuming HPA is high purity alumina or aluminium. Now, I do know it's aluminum, but that's what I thought when I saw the chart. So really interesting. The whole reason I decided to look at Alpha HPA and what they do is because of the chart. Sometimes technical analysis can lead you in a direction that you would never have envisaged. And that's what it's done with Alpha HPA. The chart looks pretty amazing. And the market cap of this company is something like $900 million. And what they do is looking really interesting as well. So I'm going to do a little bit more research on Alpha HPA. More than likely, I won't take an investment in the company just because I think the market has already priced in a lot of the potential of the company. Now, the other 8 ASX companies I'll be looking at in today's video include Corporate Travel Management. Now, I am a shareholder of all these companies. Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? So Corporate Travel Management, they did release a fairly bullish announcement in regards to a contract, and the share price popped up something like 10% on the day. XRF Scientific, I did a standalone video for this company, which I released on April the 15th. Again, the share price popped up on some positive, well, a positive trading update. Codan has broken out. No news from that company. It's just a technical signal. And Nanosonics share price is trying really hard to break out, but right now it's struggling to get above a pretty strong resistance level. So sometimes technical analysis does work, and it works pretty well. And for those who say technical analysis is absolute rubbish, completely ignore what they say because they are fairly naive, fairly ignorant in regards to technical analysis. And there are a few experts I am talking about when I say that. And the last 4 companies I'll be looking at include one company I own. They've been holding for a while, IPD Group, but that's one of the best charts on the ASX. And the other 3 companies I don't own, very happy that I have included some companies that are not in my portfolio, including Lycopodium, a company I featured in one of my videos, technical update videos a few weeks ago. They just released another good trading update, and that's another chart that looks absolutely amazing right now. NextDC released a good announcement. Share price has popped up. I have no inclination of taking a position in that company. It has been a cult stock on the ASX over the last 5 years or so. I'm not even sure it makes profit yet. It's always been on the cusp of making profit. Yeah, anyway, I have no inclination, no reason why I will become a shareholder of that company, but the chart looks interesting. And the last company I'll be looking at is a company I've never heard of before, Prospech Limited. Interesting logo for that company. It is a mining exploring company in Slovakia and also Finland. The market cap was something like 4 million, maybe even less than. I think it was 2 million. Then the share price increased 150% in one day on the back of an announcement in regards to a rare earth project in Finland. So even though I don't know anything about Prospech, I'm going to have a look at their chart because I'm always going to have a look at a chart when a company's share price increase over 100% in one day on massive volume. The market liked it, and it liked it for some reason. I don't have to understand what their reason is. I just have to understand how the market is viewing it and how the market reacts following that really big up day. And we'll have a look at the next 3 trading updates, trading days after that massive price rise in Prospech Limited. So let's talk about Alpha HPA first. Now, this is the daily chart. I think I'm going to look at 2 charts, daily and weekly. Yes. So this is their daily chart. Sometimes prefer to look at the weekly chart first and then go to the daily. That was why I was a little bit confused here. But the share price from, say, this goes back to the start of 2022. Share price during 2022 really went nowhere. In fact, it was going down for the year. But the share price moved into an uptrend late 2022 and has really taken off since the start of March. In fact, the share price has increased from about 62 cents in the middle of March to a current share price above $1. So the market, for some reason, is really excited about this company in the last, say, month or so. Yeah, about a month. And probably the only problem is we haven't seen massive volume. However, the volume has increased, which is actually a good sign. The market is really keen about this company. Sentiment has really improved in regards to Alpha HPA. And maybe that has something to do with their project. I don't know. But the market cap of this company currently is $900 million, which did surprise me. And they have no revenue or very little revenue right now. So the market is pricing in a lot of potential. And I'll talk about that potential in a second. Now, in most of these technical analysis videos, I don't have a look at anything other than charts. But I'm going to make a little bit of an exception in today's video. And I'm going to look at one slide this company provided in one of their presentations, because you get a bit of insight, a better insight in this company if you have this one look at this particular slide. So let's have a look at the weekly chart, and then we'll have a look at that slide the company gave in one of their presentations. Now, one of the reasons I do like to look at weekly charts is you get a better indication of the longer term sentiment. And there's been really good sentiment in Alpha HPA ever since about 2017. So this chart goes back from 2017. The share price was less than 10 cents. And the share price has actually been in a long-term uptrend ever since 2018. We did see a couple of periods during this time where the share price pulled back during the COVID-19 financial panic, and then also during the period May or June last year. Both times, the share price moved to just under the 150-week moving average, and then we saw a bounce. So it's happened twice. Actually, in fact, you could say has happened 3 times in the past 6 years. So that 150-week moving average is a nice little support level for Alpha HPA. And you can just see through this weekly chart, the share price has really taken off since late 2022. In fact, the share price has increased from about 40 cents to that current share price of $1.03. And this is that slide the company did provide in one of their presentations, sort of an introduction to Alpha HPA. So they are a technology industrial chemical company making ultra high, not just high, ultra high purity aluminum or aluminium, depending where you come from. I thought it might have been alumina. So when I started researching Alpha HPA, I thought HPA was high purity alumina, and it's actually aluminum or aluminium. Keep on to say aluminum. That's because I did live in the United States for 8 years, and for some reason, I'm just used to saying aluminum. Now, I'm not sure what they use these products for, so I'm going to have to do way more research in this company, and they are getting these high purity aluminium products with the world's first Prospech, which are critical raw materials for decarbonization. And they go through some of this project and the stages they're in. They did receive some big grants from the Australian government, and probably the most important thing, in my opinion, so about $60 million in government grants. And one of the most important things about this particular slide is found right at the bottom. So stage 2, full-scale HPA first project to free cash flows of between $133 and $280 million per annum. This is from the DFS, which is the definitive feasibility study released in March 2020. So again, between $133 and $280 million of free cash flow. That's not EBITDA. I'm a little bit surprised they did not use EBITDA, because most companies will just go straight to EBITDA. This is free cash flow. So I can understand why the market has priced Alpha HPA with a market cap of $900 million, because if they do realize this potential, even at a market cap or a valuation of $900 million, this company is looking fairly cheap. Now onto corporate travel management. Their ticker code is not CTM. I believe CTM is Centura Metals or something like that. They have a project or some projects, nickel, I think, in Brazil. And more than likely, they listed before corporate travel management, and CTM ticker code was not available. So their ticker code, or corporate travel management ticker code, is CTD. Now, I have been a shareholder of this company off and on over the years. And you might say, well, I would say that that probably means I don't consider this company a high quality company. That is a mistake. I do consider corporate travel management to be on the higher side of the quality spectrum, but they have been experiencing some headwinds. However, I think they have pulled through the COVID-19 period really well. Not only that, they have made some really strategic acquisitions. And I believe right now that this company might be seriously, significantly undervalued because I don't think the market is fully realizing how undervalued or how much significance those acquisitions this company made in the past few years. I think they acquired Hello World's corporate travel division, something like that. Anyway, on the 13th of April 2023, this company announced an award of a material customer contract. And this was material. We're talking about $1 billion or so. And the market reacted exactly how you would expect. Share price up 12%. Now, just because the share price is up 12%, that, means nothing. But this is a breakout in the share price. Share price rose to about $21. And the last time the share price was $21 was way back in August last year, which might not seem a long time ago, but that's over 6 months ago. So I am looking out for breakouts in share price where the share price gets to at least a 6-month high because you do have less resistance, less shareholders who bought in more than 6 months ago at higher prices are there to sell out when the share price breaks out like this. Not only that, the volume on this day was fairly high. So this was a positive reaction from the market. And not only that, the next day, the share price rose even further, which again means that positive reaction from the market has continued. And this is a good sign moving forward. So typically, I'd like to see share price just go sideways or consolidate after a company releases a significant announcement like corporate travel management. I don't want to see the share price fall a lot. I don't want to see a lot of profit taking. But when the share price rises or continues to rise, that's actually a positive sign. But we more than likely will see a little bit of profit taking coming in. But again, I think this is a long-term play for me because I do think this company could be significantly undervalued at current prices. I did do a standalone video on XRF released on April the 14th in regards to why the share price has increased significantly over the past few days. Another positive announcement. It was a trading update from the company, and at a P ratio of about 23, I do think if they do release really good financial year 23 numbers, and I do expect this company to hit the financial results up the park, I do expect the share price to rally because the P ratio of 23 will be significantly lower if the share price doesn't increase from here. But this is another nice looking chart on the ASX. So even though the overall market hasn't been that bullish over the past year or so, there are individual companies on the ASX whose charts, whose share price are in really nice, beautiful uptrends. And this is advantage of technical analysis. So in technical analysis, if you are long, you only hold those companies whose share price are in uptrends, and you don't own those companies whose share prices are in sort of going sideways or in downtrend. So anyway, XRF Scientific have gone to a new long-term or maybe even an all-time high at $1.20. Share price closed at the high of the day. That's very important as well. That's another very bullish sign. Not only that, really high volume. Not only high volume on this day, there was some high volume leading into this announcement. Now, I talked about that in the previous video. Now, the cynic in me might say there's some shady things going on. Someone knew the company was going to release a trading update, or it could be just coincidence. Now, the dashed line right at the bottom at 52.5 cents was a really nice support level. And the share price reached that support level in June last year. That was the time to buy if you're a long-time bull on this company because it hit that support level. Again, technical analysis works. Hit that support level, and then we have seen this nice little bounce in the share price. And right now, XRF is in a well-defined uptrend. And the reason the share price is in a well-defined uptrend is all because of financial expansion from the business it is doing. Now on to Codan. Now I took a position in Codan a little bit too early. So I do think that Codan is sort of hovering around the high quality status. I could argue it's high-ish, not quite high, but then I could argue that this is a high quality company. And because it is diversifying its revenue streams, I think it has a chance to be considered a high quality company in the future. But and another thing, if you don't really follow my channel all that well, I view high quality companies quite a bit different than low quality companies. So high quality companies, I don't really care about the chart. I don't look at the charts for high quality companies. It's all about the value. where I see value. So even if the share price is in a downtrend and I see the company reach a pretty good value, I will take a position in that company. Now, for low quality companies, it's all about the trend momentum. It's all about technical analysis. I've made a fair bit of money just doing that sort of investing strategy, buying in low quality companies like South 32, BlueScope Steel, Fortescue Metals. The list goes on and on. Oz Forex. I took a position in that short-term bull position, and the share price has now pulled back to the sort of share price I bought in. Now, I haven't looked at Oz Forex for a while because that was just a sentiment trade. But Codan, I think there is some high quality, feelings in there when I look at this company. And I bought back in, was September last year. So you can see share price was falling. Share price kept on falling. I was thinking about adding to my position if I started to see share price move into an uptrend, and the share price was looking like it was moving in an uptrend start of this year, and then the share price was really struggling, getting above this nice little resistance level at about $5.70. We saw the share price reach $5.70 in February, again in March, and then pull back. And then just a few trading days ago, we saw the share price get to $5.70, and then it broke through about 4 trading days ago, so it would have been the Tuesday, and the share price has kept on rising after that breakout. Now, share price closed at about $6.40 on the Friday, the April the 14th. The last time the share price was that high was back in September last year. So right now, Codan is at a 7-month high. So again, just like any other company, I am looking for companies that are at least a 6-month high when the share price breaks out. And Codan has done that. But again, there's going to be a little bit of resistance moving forward just because we still have some shareholders who bought in at significantly higher prices. I think the share price of Codan got as high as $19 over a year ago. So it went from $19 all the way down to $3.60. And I think right now there is still some argument that Codan is undervalued, even though the share price has rallied, almost doubled in the last, say, 4 or 5 months. But I still think there might be value. Share price is at a 7-month high. And because the share price has run up nicely over the last 4 trading days, and the last trading day, there was some pretty good volume. That's another good sign moving forward for this company. So still would expect a little bit of resistance moving forward as those shareholders who bought high prices last few years see the opportunity to sell out of this dog stock. Now, I don't consider this a dog stock, but that's the view a lot of investors have when the share price of the company they bought into immediately falls from when they bought. So there's this short-term need for investors to see the share price immediately rise from when they bought in. But it could go either way. There's a 50% chance share price might rise, 50% chance the share price might drop. And if they see it drop, they automatically assign dog stock to that company. So be aware that there might be a little bit more resistance, but I think what we have seen over the last 4 trading days for Codan is pretty positive. Looking out to see their full year results, or maybe even a trading update. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this company release a really positive trading up. The other thing they sell is gold detectors. And what's happening with gold prices right now? Gold prices are going up a fair bit. We are seeing pretty big runs in gold companies, and they're more likely to sell gold detectors in Africa. So that's another reason why Codan share price is looking way more bullish, just because of what's happening with gold prices. Now let's have a look at Nanosonics. This is another company I've held off and on over the past few years. I wouldn't consider this company to be high quality, but it has all the hallmarks of eventually becoming high quality. So I think it will eventually go through that transition from low quality. I wouldn't consider it low quality either, but I think it's moving in that direction of being or considered a high quality company. And I think the market knows that. That's why the valuation of this company is over $1 billion. Might be even well over $1 billion. So our point of this particular video is looking at their chart. And on this particular chart, there is a really strong, I am calling it strong, resistance level at about $5.30. That's the share price Nanosonics reached back in August last year. Share price went on a nice bull run. From June to August, share price increased from less than $3 to $5.30 in a fairly short period of time. Got to $5.30 and then it pulled back. So you can see the share price moving in waves. Share price is trending to be an uptrend since about November. You can see share price rising and falling, but each successive high and each successive low has been a little bit higher than the previous one. Now, back in January, the share price tried to get above $5.30. You can see one candlestick on the day when the tail went above $5.30 and then fell below, which means there was a little bit of selling coming in on that particular day. And more than likely, the selling came in because of that resistance level at $5.30. Those who bought in at $5.30 back in August saw the opportunity to sell out. That's how the psychology plays out here in this particular chart. Shows the share price fell back again, but there is just a general positive sentiment behind Nanosonics right now. And I know that just by that green shaded area. So when I see green shaded area, that means, or it's telling me, there is some positive sentiment behind the company. And I know that eventually Nanosonics share price will try to get above that resistance level. It is trying. The last 4 trading days, it has hovered around $5.30. And then on the last trading day of the week, on the 14th of April, share price actually went up to $5.40. It opened at about $5.40, but selling came in again, and the share price closed at $5.22. So right now, there is a contest between the bears and the bulls. The bulls want the share price to get above $5.30, but the bears are saying that's a resistance level. I'm going to take my profits here. Who's going to win out in the end? In my opinion, this is just opinion. Eventually, the bulls will win. And when the share price breaks above $5.30, I think the share price could go significantly, maybe not significantly, but the share price will continue in its uptrend and move higher from that level. Now on to NextDC, the data center company. And to be honest with you, I don't really follow this company too closely. I do know some investors place this company within, say, the REIT or the infrastructure sectors. I'm not so sure about that. If you do know this company a little bit more than I do, I'd love to hear your opinion, but the whole point of this particular video is just looking at the chart. And the company released a really interesting announcement on the 12th of April, contracted utilization update. They're pleased to advise that following recent customer wins, so that's pretty bullish, the company's contracted utilization has increased by 35.9 million watts, 43% to 120 million megawatts, whatever it is, since 31st of December 2022. But the main thing is, even though I don't really understand that announcement, the main thing is the market, which generally understands the announcement. So if you take the market as a whole, there's going to be parts of the market that will understand this announcement. And those parts of the market that understand this announcement said, wow, this is really good. I'm going to buy into NextDC. Share price rose 8% on that day and rose again the next 2 days. And the day they released this announcement, the share price went above a resistance level at around about $12. And the reason that's a resistance level, you can go back to March last year and also August last year. You can see the share price try to get it above that level on those 2 occasions and then failed. It pulled back. So that's resistance. And then on this day, the share price again tried to get above that level and there was resistance, even though there was high volume. So a lot of times I have seen this. When a company releases a pretty positive announcement, the share price might increase to a resistance level, very natural level for the share price to increase to. So if the share price was, say, 15% below this resistance level, the share price actually might have increased 15% on this day. That was a possibility, but it only increased 8%. And funny enough, the share price for NextDC has increased from just above $8 to $12 since November last year. So the share price has increased 50% in about 5 months of trading, which is fairly interesting in itself. But back on topic, the next 2 trading days after 12th of April, the share price did close above that resistance level. So that is fairly bullish in my opinion, and that's a good sign that the share price might go higher from here. So you would consider this chart right now to be a breakout for NextDC. Now to one of the most bullish charts you'll see on the ASX. Now there's a lot of bullish charts, a lot of beautiful charts on the ASX, and this is a company I own. The only reason I took a position in this company is because of the chart. Now this is the chart, daily chart for the company going back to when they IPO'd. So this company IPO'd towards the end of 2021. What happened in 2022, people? The overall market went down. There's a lot of negative sentiment in the overall market. Look at IPD Group's chart. Any negative sentiment here at all? It's just been positive. Positive ever since this company listed on the ASX. You see that green shaded area. That is telling me still a lot of positive sentiment behind this company. Now, on occasion, you will see some short-term negative sentiment. So if my moving averages were shorter, say maybe the 10-day moving average, you probably would see some red here. So I have the 25-day, 75-day, and 150-day moving averages here. If I was using the 10, 20, and 30, you might see some red, which would telling me there is some short-term negative sentiment. You can actually see the share price drop from about $3.30 in December down to about $2.50 in February. But the long-term uptrend was not in threat. In fact, the share price moved to the 150-day moving average. In fact, on 2 occasions, in February and in March, share price fell to the 150-day moving average and then bounced. So it's telling me again, share price is in an uptrend, positive sentiment behind this company. And as soon as the share price reached the 150-day moving average in March, we saw a significant increase in share price over the next 2 trading weeks. In fact, the share price went from $2.65 to $3.70 in about 10 trading days. And not only that, on the last trading day of the week, share price closed at $3.69, and that is almost an all-time high. In fact, on the day, share price did get to an all-time high of $3.75. So I'm fairly bullish on this company moving forward, not only in what they do, but also the chart. And the market knows it. The market knows this company is in the sweet spot. If you don't know what they do, just Google it. I've done a video on this company before, and the whole point of this video, apart from Alpha HPA, is not to discuss what these companies do, because sometimes you don't know you don't have to know what the company does. In fact, I have heard some technical analysis, whatever you want to call them, say I have no idea what this company does, but the chart looks really bullish. So I'm taking a position in that company. From IPD Group, is it IPD or IPG? I completely forget. IPD. Ticker code of IPD is actually IPG because the ticker code IPD is owned by ImpediMed. I just wish they can change ticker codes, just because if a company has 3 letters in their name, like IPD, they should just own that ticker code, and then ImpediMed has to change their ticker code. That's just me. Anyway, so we do see a lot of bullish charts on the ASX right now. You just have to know where to find them. And another fairly bullish chart is Lycopodium. I did a video on Lycopodium, not a standalone video, but I did feature Lycopodium in one of my technical updates a few weeks ago because I was looking really bullish. And then in the past week, the company released an operational guidance update for the 4th quarter. The market loved it, and the share price just keeps taking off. Remember those other companies I was looking at when the share price kept on increasing after the company released a positive update? This has happened with Lycopodium as well. And I noticed this happened to Lycopodium, not the following days, but I saw the share price reach a long-term high the day they released this announcement. I went, maybe I should take a position. I thought I'll just wait to see what the share price does over the next few days. And I lost my chance. Really good volume coming through as well on the last trading day. And the share price has reached $10.06. So a lot of positive things going for Lycopodium, and this is another beautiful looking chart on the ASX. Now on to the final company in today's video, and that company is the only company I've never heard of before, and that is Prospech Limited, a mining exploring company with projects in Slovakia and Finland, of all places. Anyway, this company share price was in a well-defined downtrend. In fact, the share price fell all the way down to below 2 cents at one point in time. And with only about 88 million shares on issue, that means the market cap of this company a few weeks ago was about $2 million or even less than $2 million. And that is a problem, particularly if they want to raise capital. And this company did want to raise capital, not want to, they did raise capital. So the shares on issue going to increase from 88 million. I'm just going to have a quick look at the announcement. Are going to increase from 88.3 million to 216.3 million, and they're only going to raise something like $2 million. So that is a problem for these micro-cap mining companies, particularly micro-cap mining exploring companies, because they will have to raise capital. And if the share price is really, really low, you're going to see a really highly dilutive capital raising for shareholders. But the company did release that announcement in regards to high-grade rare earth oxides at one of their Finland projects. I believe they did acquire these projects recently, and the market absolutely loved this announcement on the day. Share price rose 152% on massive volume. And when I say massive volume, the previous 2 days before this announcement, the volumes of shares traded were 88,000 and 20,000. On this particular day, the shares traded were 36 million. That's why it's significant. The market, for some reason, absolutely loved this announcement. Now, part of that increase in volume would have been day traders. So day traders can get interested in a company's share price rising early in the day, and they're the ones who might push up the share price during the rest of the day. Now, in these particular examples, I like to just wait and just see how the market reacts following days. And we did see the share price pull back a fair bit. In fact, the share price pulled back from, say, about 5.4 cents and then closed at 4.1 cents on Friday, the 14th of April, which is understandable. Now, that's not necessarily a negative thing. I do prefer share price to just consolidate or even continue rising after a big update like 152%. But when you see this sort of chart with the share price just in a well-defined downtrend, there will be a lot of shareholders who want to sell out when they see the share price rising like 152%. And then you're going to see that selling continue into the following days. So that's what we have seen over the last few days, is just these shareholders having the ability to sell out at a significantly higher price than 2 cents. That's all I have this technical update, 16th of April 2023 edition, focusing on Alpha HPA and 8 other companies on the ASX, including one company I had never heard of before, Prospech. Now I have heard of them, and I might do a little bit more research on that company. I'm not sure yet, but I'm definitely going to do more research on Alpha HPA just because that free cash flow projections per annum interest me. That's a lot of free cash flow for a company with a market cap of $900 million. If you have any questions about any companies I featured in today's video, I'd love to hear it. So leave your thoughts in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.